Great, I think my bicentennial tape is spazzing out. God damn it. Come on, play. Play, damn you. Spin something! I know you work. I can't take it anymore. I think it's time for some serious changes around here. This is taking too long. And welcome to the Oddity Archive, the show that at long last is finally joining the 21st century. Indeed, today is the day that I unveil the brand new, ultra sleek, ultra modern, ultra high tech Oddity Archive 2.0. No more of this analog crap, no more of these CDs, DVDs. For God's sakes, I have books down there if you look a little lower in the shot. Oh, and you are gonna love this. I am getting rid of this stupid old set finally, and we are going to be taking place on a spaceship from now on. I mean, it's gonna be awesome. Let me get that going here. Say your goodbyes to this old set. Okay, so let's do this. I'm back. Got my green screen. I got my iPod little handheld computer thingy here. I've got Adobe Premiere Mobile Edition. Thank you very much. Now let's get this going here. Ladies and gentlemen, the grand unveiling. The new archive set. There we go. Well, that doesn't look right. It's on here. It's on this screen, but I don't see it on the camera, and indeed I don't see it with my own eyes. What's going on here? Oh, great. The screen just went blank. Guess I better open this thing up. Where's the screws on this stupid thing?
Wonderful. Now the camera's spazzing out.
Just what I need. God damn it! Well, at least I got the camera fixed. Good old duct tape. Anyway, I'm really sorry for going off like that. I should know better than to fight my place in this world. You'd think I'd have learned by now. Let's just pretend that none of this ever happened, and let's just start fresh. And welcome to the Oddity Archive, the show that teaches you how to be a better Luddite. And before we get started, I got a new piece of equipment, and I've been wanting one of these things forever. It cost a fortune, but it was so totally worth it. I got my very own wax cylinder machine. Just listen to this. Listen to that sound. That is awesome. Let me get back to my seat here. Anyway, at long last, let's finally get down to today's topic. You know, in the last few years, it seems like everybody's just been in this big rush to go digital. And, you know, sometimes it's out of necessity, like us here at the archive. But more often than not, it seems like it's just this weird, lame attempt at being hip, you know? I mean, people, for example, just can't be content to keep their old home movies on 8mm or VHS or whatever. No, they gotta digitize them. And so what I thought we'd do today is I thought I'd show you how to reverse the trend. I thought I'd show you how to take your digital nonsense and boil it down to something good and analog. So, you know what? For the occasion, let's be authentic about this. You like it? VHS all the way, baby. I would have filmed this on 9.5mm and recorded onto Vitaphone discs if I thought I could get away with it, but you know, that stuff's kind of hard to come by these days. In all seriousness, though, it seems like when I'm making this show, it seems like I spend an awful lot of time taking various analog artifacts, if you will, and transferring them over to digital. It seems like I'm always transferring vinyl and 8-track cassettes, VHS, beta, laserdisc, you name it, just so I can discuss it on the archive. Now, since it's our 50th episode, did I mention that? I thought it would be fun to do just the exact opposite. Now, none of this is meant to be taken as legitimate advice, and it's certainly not practical at all, but, you know, I thought it would be just a little bit of silly fun that we could have today. So, let's get started. Let's see if I can get the fade function to work on this thing. So I know I'm already breaking my own little rule here a bit with this screen recording, but imagine that. This doesn't film too well, so there you go. Anyway, I've got a clip here from a very recent archive episode up here, so let's just play a little piece of it. I unleash a serious pop quiz on your asses on the differences between EI8 and SMPTE. So that might look familiar, maybe, maybe not. Now, let's boil this down to, say, Betamax. That's about as far back as I have the means to go. Now, we've got iMovie going here, and you can mostly do this in Windows Movie Maker as well. And just to be a smartass, not to mention go one step beyond, let's not only take this widescreen footage and make it fit into a 4:3 aspect ratio frame, but let's crop it so there won't be any black bars or anything. So let's try that. Okay, so we're halfway there, and now let's give it a little cropping. Nice and easy to do. Well, I guess it's not much of a pop quiz now, is it? Okay, so we've got that, and iMovie, as you saw, it allows me to dink around with the aspect ratio. Windows Movie Maker kind of sort of lets you do it. It doesn't let you crop it, though. But anyway, to make this work, I need to eventually make this into an AVI file, an AVI file. And iMovie can export to AVI, but it makes the absolute worst AVI file in the world. They're terrible. They're just pure artifacting. So let's not even worry about format right now. Let's just take what we've got, and we'll just export it to the standard proprietary Mac format. So let's get this out of here. Well, that's it for today's archive. Join us next time when I unleash a serious pop quiz on your asses on the differences between EI8 and SMPTE. Well, I guess it's not much of a pop quiz now, is it? Damn. See you next time. Okay, so apologies for the bad crooked shot, but it was the best I could do. Now, this is my nearly 10-year-old Windows Vista machine. It's the only thing I have left that reliably prints to tape. And I could use Windows Movie Maker for this, but it renders it twice more. So I get to sit through it twice, again, in real time just to get it onto tape. So what I use is this little bit of shareware, which doesn't even really exist anymore. It's called WinDV. And it's a very simple setup. It looks like it's already got my clip in there. So, looks like it did it all for me. That's nice. So, this is simple. It does it in real time. I don't have to wait for it to render or anything. So let's just try it. Hit record here a couple times, I think. And there we go. Well, that's it for today's archive. Let me get you over to the other camera. Serious pop quiz on your asses on the differences between EI8 and SMPTE. And there it is. It's not much of a pop quiz now, is it? Damn. See you next time. So here we are in my cruddy little storage area, and I've got my digital 8 camcorder with my freshly minted tape. And as you may or may not know, this camcorder has an AV input-output jack, runs both directions, so it just depends on whether you're going into the input or output of your VCR or whatever. So obviously I've got this hooked into the inputs on the Betamax, and with this old deck, and like a lot of these old things, let me pan up here. Hitting record only puts it into record mode, so I can monitor what's going on, but it's not actually recording. You have to hit record and play, just like most old electronics. It's just, you know, when you play with a lot of new stuff too, you kind of forget that sometimes. So let's get this started here. Let me go back down. So you'll hear a nice loud thunk. That's me going into record mode. Okay, so we're in record mode, and I hit play on the camcorder, and we should be going in. There we are. TVs tend to cut a little, so it looks like it's a little too tight right now. Okay, so to re-reverse this process, let's get this back to what it would look like on an archive episode. We're running out the Betamax, to the camcorder, to the FireWire port, on the computer, to iMovie. So here we go.
Well, that's it for today's archive. Join us next time when I unleash. See you next time.
Well, that's it for today's archive. Join us next time when I unleash a serious pop quiz on your asses on the differences between EI8 and SMPTE. Well, I guess it's not much of a pop quiz now, is it? Damn. See you next time. So this is going to double as an equipment test of sorts for me personally. And since we were going analog today, I thought it would be fun to do a full, relatively historically accurate transfer to 8-track tape. And the idea is to dub Pavand, the archive theme, to 8-track, largely for copyright reasons. But I want it to be 1960s to 80s period accurate, more or less. So I'm actually going to record this to cassette from CD, then to 8-track, as opposed to going directly from CD to 8-track. Now, lately my cassette deck has been giving me some flutter problems upon playback, not necessarily of my pre-recorded tapes, but of my own recordings. So I've tried to clean the thing up as best as I can, and we'll see if this works, see if I had any impact on this whatsoever. Although if I had my way, I'd be going to open reel audio tape somewhere down the line here, but my reel-to-reel doesn't work, so, you know, we gotta make do with what we got, which is just as well. Anyway, I got a new-ish cassette tape in the deck and a nice, clean, sonically uncompressed CD copy of Pavand in the CD player, obviously. And we're going to go to cassette, no noise reduction, and let's just give it a shot here. So tape's running, and here's the CD. Okay, so I don't normally do unboxings here on the archive, but, you know, for the occasion, why not? So here is a brand new, unopened 8-track cartridge, still sealed. So let me get out my old pocket knife here and Yeah, get one shot at this, of course. So if I screw it up, it stays in the episode. So there we go. Here's the cartridge. There's some labels in here too. So look at that. The splice looks adequate. It doesn't look particularly great, but it looks good enough, I suppose. Here's some labels it came with. I think this was probably manufactured around 1990 or so. I believe that's when Radio Shack stopped making these things, which means they held on for quite a while. And I think the last cartridge came off the rack, if you will, in 88 or 9. I've heard that the last 8-track was either the soundtrack to Cocktail or Fleetwood Mac's Greatest Hits. Excuse me. So there you go. It's a 3-tab cartridge, just the kind I like, so if I have to open it up, I can actually do that. And I've got everything hooked up, everything's queued up, everything's ready, so there's not much more to do except for to probably get a nice shot of my butt as I do this. So, to record on an 8-track, if you're not familiar, most of these decks, you have to hold down the record button or switch, then insert your cartridge and let go. So, in case you've never played with one of these before, I know there's a lot of younger viewers that watch this show. Again, one shot at this. So, let's take a shot at it. There's that. We're recording, and here we go. Squeaking away. Okay, so we got that. And then just pop her out. There we go. We'll take a listen. I thought we'd have a nice clean ending here. Anyway, that's it for today's archive, and here's to at least another 50 trips into the great audiovisual dustbin. See you next time.
Hello, my baby, hello, my honey, hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss, my wife. You hear me, baby? My heart's on fire. If you refuse me, honey, you lose me, then you'll the last alone, oh baby.
So a little late-breaking development here in Archive Land. Yes, I got a U-Matic, and I think this thing dates to 1975 or 6. I'm going to have to try and look up the serial number. Hopefully there's a database somewhere. And I ordered it, and it arrived a little on the broken side. I had no idea it was going to be missing the little front cover piece there. And so much. One of the legs arrived crushed. Some of the parts that it came with arrived crushed. So, $60 shipping apparently doesn't get you much in the way of good packing. And also, I had this lovely little space out so I could have a nice home for it. And I didn't think it was going to be this big. This thing is just shy of 2 feet wide. And I had this lovely little space here over in my home entertainment center area where I was going to have it live. Had a nice little table. And it's only 18 inches in there. So I'm going to have to figure something out, but since this is the whole going analog thing, I thought I'd show this to you. And indeed, if I can get this thing working, I intend to try and get a little piece of archive onto U-Matic. So stay tuned for late-breaking developments, which actually will follow just as soon as I turn off the camera. So here we are, it's the next day, and I tried to play with this a little bit last night. It didn't go much beyond just popping in a tape and seeing if it would play, rewind, fast forward, not get eaten when I try and eject, you know, just the basic stuff. Didn't even try and hook it up to the TV. And I wanted to do it right. I wanted to use the full stereo output, the whole 9 yards. And it just wasn't happening, and the reason for that being is that the main video out as well as in on this is a UHF connector. A lot of our younger viewers have probably never even seen one of these. In fact, probably some of our older ones haven't either. So what I needed was to get this to RCA. So I had some parts lying around, and it also took a trip to the ham radio place. But I got a coax in the way here. But what wound up happening was I got UHF male to male, UHF to BNC, and then BNC to RCA from my own collection. And the signal's pretty much gone by that point, so yeah, it ain't really happening. So what happened was I just decided to hook up the good old coax and run it to the TV, and it didn't work. You know, big shock. So I figured, well, maybe it just really wants some sort of RF modulator. So I ran it through the VCR, and lo and behold, it worked. So I'm not really going to go into any great detail here, but I'm just going to give you a quick little sample. And indeed, I can't really put any archive onto U-Matic. I would, given the whole concept of going analog. But there is no coax in. Everything for the input is via the UHF, so until I can get a workable solution, it's a no-go. But I just wanted to show you it does work. It's like the Betamax. It just springs up on you. Here's a tape, and this is from some sort of sales seminar. It's a little persnickety in how it loads. It's a bit like the CED in that regard. But you put it down, lets out a little bit, and then you don't hit play. There is no play. It's forward. So you hit play, and then it winds up all around, hence the name U-Matic, makes kind of a U shape, and it eventually makes it to the TV. How about that?
Lost them, lose them good, you know. I have told customers already, don't you dare ever come in that front door again. And guess who is back in 2 months? You know why? Because they're just that bad every place else, and every place else they won't even do for them what we do.